can lean into your own personal discomfort, say what needs to be said in a non-offensive way, the more you make the world a better place. All right, everyone. Welcome to Jumpstart's Live at 5 on Tuesdays. We're streaming on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Welcome all. Thank goodness Brenda is no longer giving me relationship stuff. And in December, we're dealing with more timely matters this season. What a great one she has selected today. Holiday spending pressure. How gift giving can create conflict or stress, anything from spending limits to family expectations. Boy, I have a number of thoughts on this matter that I've derived from a number of experiences, and some of them very, very recent. So I hope that whatever I have to say today is inspired and you're able to derive some meaning and value from it. On Tuesdays, we focus on topics that are more consistent with everyday life for everyday people. And on Thursdays, our lives are dedicated to people in the professional space, and we do that in the Jumpstart Mastery Network. So welcome all. I've lived in plenty, and I've lived in want. I know what it's like to not have enough to live, and I know what it's like when there's abundance. I can roundly tell you that some of the fondest memories I have around the holidays, whether it's having abundance or not having abundance and living in deprivation, some of my fondest memories have always been in conditions of deprivation, not in abundance. That's just my experience. This isn't to say that I don't have fond memories when I could lavishly spend and meet self-imposed expectations that I think others had of me in terms of gift giving. I do. I have some fond memories of that. It's great when you have more than enough money. The majority of my fondest memories are from periods when there wasn't enough. What are those experiences anchored in then? If the majority of my fondest memories are anchored in experiences when there wasn't enough, what could they be possibly anchored in? The words that come to mind are honesty, relationship, value, good feeling, things like that. I think it's often in the Western culture, and particularly in the United States, an extraordinary source of pressure on human beings to engage in commerce. And look, our entire Western society is based on one's living largely through, almost entirely through, the exchange of goods and services, commerce. Jumpstart has a Black Friday sale. We engage in it like everybody else. I will even tell you, though, I give a lot of stuff away. I give a lot of content away, a lot of my time away. I just feel better about it. I'm not trying to cause anyone who's living in a state of deprivation to look at that with a jaundiced eye, like I don't know what that is. I do know what that is. And I will even tell you that this year, it's been much, much harder financially on me personally and our family and our company than it has been in previous years. I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon with all this marketing nonsense about everybody just grows unidimensionally and doesn't struggle along the way. That's all bullshit. This has been a tough year on a lot of people, and that's the data. That's not my invention. I thought something was wrong with me earlier in the year when I wondered where a lot of business went, and I thought my leadership sucks. I suck. I'm doing it wrong. Something's wrong with me. And I tried to get a hold of that pretty quickly, and I started talking to other entrepreneurs, professionals from all sectors, and I was told, shut up, it's not you. Everyone is going through this. So here we are at Christmas. Let's tackle some questions. If you have it, if you are in abundance and you have it, should you spend it on gifts? I would say, as a perfunctory answer, no, it's not a requirement. That's up to you. But I will share with you my own experience with realizing that all property is a rental. And it's becoming more palpable, that idea, as I age. Like I already think about, like, I have some nice things. I have some nice bows and arrows and things that have always been important to me my whole life. I think now in my late 50s about who I want to give those things to when I'm gone. I never used to think that way. So there is absolutely something that happens in a human being's mind as they age. I never thought I would think about those things, but I think about them a lot now. Maybe I would want Hannah to have this. Maybe I would want Jared to have this. Maybe I want Kate to have this. And I think about that, and I'll write little notes about it. But there's nothing worse than living with a sense of expectation that has been self-imposed, that if you don't deliver on it, somehow you're less of a human being. Where that's anchored is nothing to do with what's truly valued at the holiday season. And this particular season, couple of things. Number one, we live in a culture that will prioritize the use of unsecured credit. Run up your credit cards to buy gifts for others to satisfy these expectations. My God, don't do it if you can avoid it. Do not do that. Live within your means, and do not incur debt to satisfy expectations over others. That would be my personal word of caution about it. I used to do that. I used to run up, like so many other Americans, extraordinary amounts of debt just to satisfy the expectations that I imposed on myself to deliver, and then engage in suffering to pay that off. I would discourage that. Second thing, we have an extraordinary amount of unsecured debt economically as a country. There's a lot of data that's available to anybody if they want to take a look at how many people live on unsecured credit. And I'll also reveal something to you. I'm going to share something with you because I'm not afraid of it. Many, 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 many years ago, like over 25 years ago, actually closer to 30, I got a lot of help from a program. I used to incur a lot of unsecured debt with credit cards as a very young man. My parents were artists. I didn't get a lot of lessons in how to manage my money. And I incurred a lot of unsecured debt. I got a lot of help from a program of recovery known as Debtors Anonymous. It was a 12-step program for people who were in debt due to either impulsive kind of spending or compulsive spending or wanting to live on the edge with unsecured debt. I got a lot of help from that program in living within my means and avoiding, when necessary, and when necessary is actually quite frequently, the use of unsecured credit to engage in impulsive purchases. So, what are the takeaways from this discussion that are worthwhile, I think? What did I want to talk about today? I want to encourage human beings to deeply think through any self-imposed expectation for gift giving, even when there is inequity in the gift giving. Someone you know who's well heeled is going to do something rather lavish for you, and you know you can't reciprocate in kind. I have found, and we have found as a family and as a company, the quickest way to get through problems like that is to lean into the discomfort, or as Tony Blauer might say, lean into the fear and get honest right away. Look, I love that you gave me or want to give me a Rolex. There's nothing I can do to reciprocate in kind. Like, get it out right away. Speak truth about it right away and liberate yourself from the chains of self-imposed expectation in the service of image management. There's nothing more liberating than being true to yourself. That's why in any 12-step recovery program, we have a slogan to thine own self be true. Family members, very often, like I can't not get my wife to not spend money at Christmas. She's gonna, and I've accepted that willingly. I've accepted it. And if we have it, it's not a problem. Even if we don't have it, there are certain things, I mean, I'll speak my piece about it, but there are certain things that we do sacrificially in relationship for other people. That's a different story. If you are willingly undertaking soberly a decision to take a lick on the chin in the service of another human being because you love them, as long as you're honest with yourself, you know what the stakes are going into it. But to believe that I have no choice or no option in the service of image management, that's the caution. That's the caveat we would encourage you to consider. So if I had to bullet point the important things we would want people to walk away with from this live, expectations, particularly that are self-imposed, are things that require analysis. Are you doing this because you feel like you want to do it or that you have no choice? If you feel like you have no choice, the suggestion would be to work through that until you determine that you do have a choice. You have a valid choice on the table. And you may determine that it's deciding what side of the not tasting good sandwich that you have to bite from. Is it the discomfort of leaning into honesty to saying, I don't have it this year? Or is it, I'm going to do this because of these reasons and I'm going to carry some burden, but I'm entering into this soberly? That's very, very different than feeling like you have no choice. What's the second thing? If you can, avoid the use of unsecured credit. We have an unsecured credit problem in our nation. Credit card debt that is extraordinary in its amount, volume. People living way outside their means. Sometimes I look at the influencers who actually talk about that as a mode of growth. I never understood that. I never understood how people got out of debt by borrowing money. That makes no sense to me. And then finally, in both conditions, in conditions of abundance and in conditions of deprivation, my fondest memories for me have been during conditions of deprivation, not having enough, and only intangible things being the things that are valued and cherished at this holiday season. And we're in a season where, in the Bible, someone was celebrated who didn't have anything, who put one of the smallest units of currency into a repository to benefit others. People living in deprivation, giving what they can in the service of other people. There is a priceless experience associated with that, because there's no agenda attached to it. There's no reciprocity attached to it. It's selfless. And even as I hear myself say that, I would say, Are there areas in your life that you can give selflessly with absolutely not seeking anything in return? No recognition, no acknowledgement. Can you do it anonymously? I do that with some frequency. And I'm only saying that because this video is talking about ways to address the calamity of undue, unnecessary, self-imposed stress and anxiety over expectations from others. So I hope that you think about those things. I certainly am thinking about them as I age. And I can tell you that this year, it's absolutely going to be a less robust in terms of spending holiday season than it was previously. And I'm okay with that because I'm honest about it. I mean, hell, I'm talking about it on here with you. I didn't think I was going to be doing that, but this is what happens when Brenda gives me these topics that, I'm not expecting. So I try to give you the best improvisational and impromptu thoughts that I have. I wish you all of the best this holiday season. I look forward to seeing you next week. Join us on Thursday at jumpstartmastery.com for our live that serves people working in the crisis de-escalation space. I hope you got something out of this. I enjoy doing them. All the very best to you. Take good care.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
More that you can lean into your own personal discomfort, say what needs to be said in a non-offensive way, the more you make the world a better place.